Rivera recognizes that when there's a new owner, it may bring about the end of his tenure with the team. That happened to him with David Tepper when Tepper bought the Panthers and Rivera was the head coach. Here's what Rivera said to the Washington Post. I could be gone in a year. That's football. I understand that. I'm not going to be desperate. I'm not. When you're desperate, you make bad decisions. I've got to be very specific and very clear-cut with what our vision is going forward, and it has to mesh. That's one of the things I learned from the Panthers change, is that not having it mesh, not having an explanation of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it slows down the process. And this is Riverboat Ron. He's not going to be Riverboat for the sake of saving his job. He's still got to go out there and coach the team. And it's a tough spot for everybody. Everybody in the organization, when a new owner takes over, the new owner is going to have a vision of how he or she wants the team to look. And you start making key hires, and they're going to have their vision of who they want working for them. And there will be some employees who aren't affected by it, but plenty will be. And everybody's going to be worried about it. And it makes for a tenuous time for the organization during this transition. And that's just part of the territory of working for an NFL team. There's a chance that it's going to get purchased by somebody else and that owner, whoever it is. And that's what's got to drive you crazy, Chris. You got multiple groups looking at this team. Which one is less likely to come in and make immediate wholesale changes?
Right.
Which one may stick with me? Which one do I have a good relationship, if any? Which one works out better for me? And, yeah, you're going to have some people who have their lives turned upside down in the aftermath of that change.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a big year. We know that. I think even without ownership change, it's a big year for Washington Commanders and Ron Rivera and all of that. You know, it's kind of getting to that point of put up or shut up. They've been good, but they haven't been able to kind of get over that hump to make any waves in the NFC playoffs. So this is a big year for their football team. And then, added on to that, I can't help but read that quote and go, okay, wait, I understand what you're saying and the logic of where the team is going right now. But I also, within that quote, want to go, is he referring to the Lamar Jackson issue there as far as you're just not going to be desperate? I mean, again, that doesn't seem like a desperate move. That could have been a move that played in his favor in a lot of ways too. But I couldn't help but think about that a little bit as you were reading that quote there.
Well, and I think the problem is Dan Snyder is at a point where he's got 1 foot out, and I just think it would have been difficult to get him to sign off on doing what needed to be done to go after Lamar Jackson, giving up the draft picks, and yeah, you can say to the new owner, we restrained ourselves from pursuing Lamar Jackson because we didn't want to mortgage your future. We didn't want to trade your draft picks. We didn't want to commit your dollars to a significant full guarantee that would result in a major escrow payment being due March 31 of 2024. We didn't think it was fair and proper to put you in that spot. And maybe that becomes a selling point to the new owner. You make that argument at some point. Hey, you know what? We could have gone after Lamar Jackson, but we didn't want to stick you with the bill. We didn't want to use your draft picks. We didn't want to do it without getting your approval because you're the one that's going to have to pay for the meal. Dan Snyder and us would have ordered the meal. You're the one who would have had to pay for it. So maybe that's a way to set the right mood as you try to establish a relationship with a new owner and get that new owner to keep you around. But it's not going to be easy for anybody. For anybody in the front office, for Jason Wright, the team president, for the coaching staff, it's not going to be easy when there's a new owner because the new owner typically wants to do things his or her way.
Yeah, that's right. You don't know where that's going to go, or who they're connected to, in the NFL world that maybe gets in their ear about coaching changes or whatever. That's where, again, you get back to it, and you would think they got to have a good year. They've been right in, the top middle of the league, really, the last 3 years. But we haven't seen a sign of them, like I said, get over that hump to be a real dangerous player in the NFC. And now you're starting a second-year quarterback who's only played one game in his life. I'm interested to see where it goes. They got some pieces that I really like about their football team, but, of course, that's a big question mark for sure. So we'll see. Big year for Ron Rivera and the Commanders.
And I got to give them credit for what they've been able to do with all this dysfunction. It has trickled into the locker room. You've had players talk about it. How can you not have it be an issue when you've got this constant turmoil involving the organization? And Ron Rivera, to make it to the playoffs in 2020, when all this crap was going on, to go 7-10 in 21, 8-1 in 22, that's amazing when you consider all of the issues that this organization has had to deal with thanks to Daniel Snyder. So, look, I don't know that that's enough of a resume short term to keep Ron Rivera around. There's a lot of factors that's going to go into it, and we'll see how it plays out. First step is who will buy the team, and the who will go a long way toward determining how long Ron Rivera sticks around. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.